Hello and welcome to the Habit Architect. My name is Michael Cups, and I'm coming to you from my airport lounge. So if I'm speaking a little soft, it's because there's people around me. I'm trying to be respectful. But I'm really excited about our guest today, Marin. I'm going to have him introduce himself in a bit, but I've known Marin now for a couple of years, and we've worked on a few projects, and they've been very successful. And so I'm really pleased to have him based on his background. So Marin, why don't welcome, and why don't you introduce yourself?
Thanks for having me, Michael. So I'm really excited to be there. Yeah, introduction. So it's always hard for me, but I actually come from a professional sports background. I played at a high level. I'm not sure if you're aware of handball, but it's a very popular sport in Europe and is in North Africa. Um, so I was close to national team, and what is interesting now that a lot of my friends are now retiring from professional careers. So there's a lot of things going on right now, especially on Croatian national TV when they're retiring and they have dedicated matches about them. So yeah, I left Croatia to and spent time playing abroad. But at 25, I had a serious injury, and that changed everything. So it forced me to rethink my future. So I spent 8 years in Germany, and then I
Oh,
started. Yes, and then I started my IT and tech career there. So first 2 years it was everything. So I learned language. So I needed to work a lot of different things, from working in a bar to doing some building stuff, and then yeah, and then I started my tech career. So
yeah.
that's all about me. I'm proud father to kids. I have a company
Yes.
in Croatia where I'm CEO. I'm running the business here, but it's actually a global business, so I'm traveling a lot, and yeah,
Yeah.
that's all about me.
That's fantastic, Marin, and I do want to cover through the course of this conversation kind of that background with the professional handball. It's not big in the U.S., but we do see it every 4 years, certainly when the Olympics come around, because that's probably the only time it gets on the networks here in the U.S. But it looks like an active sport. I mean, it must have been fun to play, huh? Obviously,
It's a tough sport. It's very interesting. So it's a combination between I would say you will understand it. It's a combination between basketball, because you're playing it indoor, and American football, and maybe soccer, because there is a goal and then you need to throw the ball inside the goal, and it's a lot of contact, a lot of injuries. It's
yeah,
not so easy. So I can remember, I think LeBron James was laughing about the handball once, and that was a big story in Europe, because they said to him, "Okay, come to handball, and then you will see what's a tough sport and not the basketball," and so on. So it was a big discussion. But you're growing. So I realized
yeah,
at last Olympics year, yeah, it was always
yeah.
someone, some new players, and you're finally
That's great.
understanding the rules, I would say.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting about sports of any kind, but to get to the level you're playing, can you walk us through? I mean, there's a discipline, of course, but it's also the habits, right? And I was explaining this to a group I was talking to not long ago, that while the goal is to score in soccer, the goal is to score a goal. But before that, you have to build habits of learning to dribble, how to pass, how to run faster, and things like that. And all those things kind of accumulate into being successful. Can you share a little bit about that, like training and your habits there?
Yeah. So you actually you need to work every day. You need to train every day, and that's a habit. And you need to build a lot of habits around that if you want to be successful. So imagine I was a kid, and all my friends were traveling around, having parties, went to class trips with their school. So I was always staying at home, and because I needed to train. Because if you skip a training, if you skip a second training, it's always too late, because you have a match on a weekend.
Yep.
And it's all about routine. So if you are training a lot, if you have a proper habits, if you build the proper habits about around your sport you're training, so it will be easier during the match, because you will immediately know how to act, how to react, and nothing unexpected can happen if you are
Right.
training, and if you have proper habits around that. So this is extremely important. And I can tell you thousands and hundreds of habits. It's you need to eat healthy, you need to sleep well, you need to train at least once a day, and you need to listen to your coach. You need to be a team because a team will win. You can have 10 great individuals, but it's very hard to win if you are not a team. So also you need to practice it. It needs to be your habit to understand your teammate and so on.
Yeah,
So you need to work a lot.
yeah, yeah. It's interesting because it's when you said something there about you just need to react. You don't need to you don't have time to think. So it's the more you train your brain and your muscles to react. I mean, and there's so much of that that's true in life too, right?
Yeah.
So people that are trying to do something different with their life, it has to become just automatic, and the way you get there is a habit routine. Now, so you had a setback, you had an injury, and then you decided to get into the business world. I mean, what were you thinking at that time? I mean, it was I'm sure it was devastating, but you didn't quit. You decided you were going to pivot and go do something new, right?
Yeah, the injury was really tough. I didn't just yeah, it didn't just stop me from playing. It hit me hard mentally too. I remember a doctor once said that when athletes stop suddenly, it can feel like you're quitting a drug.
Mm,
And I get it. So I miss it so much that sometimes I would go for a run at 2 a.m. because I couldn't sleep. Because you need something to do to
yeah,
sleep properly. And it was like that. So the first year was very hard, and I just needed something to feel close to it again. For a while, I couldn't even watch sports. It
yeah,
hurt so much, but I knew I had to move forward. So I needed something to focus on. So I took all that energy I had for training and used it for learning. I replaced long workouts with long hours in the office. So I was
yeah,
really always working very hard. So when others left, I stayed because you need to know I
yeah,
started my business career at 25. In Germany, especially in
right,
Germany, it's a bit late because they
yeah,
start already with 18, 17. They're well trained immediately. So I wanted to understand everything, how tech works, how teams build things together, how projects are run. So I worked very hard. And what is also important, I was learning a lot alone. So I can
yes,
remember the first book I bought is it was about Scrum sprints
oh yeah,
back, and I was like, okay, what is this? Because I know sprinting from sport, I know Scrum from rugby, and
yeah,
then I realized very soon that it's very similar because it's all about teams, collaboration.
yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, I love that agile methodology. It does apply well in IT, but it also applies in every team that you have. If you think about sales or marketing, you
Yes.
run sprints, and if you do the daily check-ins, you're going to do better as a team. Things like that. So you the mindset shift that you took from being a professional athlete um, to work, it sounds like you just kept the same kind of work ethic into it, and but you had to open up your mind to learn new things. I mean, what were some of the pivotal points of learning? I mean, you and I've talked a lot about priority management and the Eisenhower matrix. I mean, what were some of those pivotal things that you just kind of said, okay, this is how I'm going to manage my day or manage my weeks? And Agile obviously was one of those enlightenment points, I guess.
Yeah, maybe I can talk as a CEO or someone who is
Yeah,
owning the company, but I'll go a step back because I realized immediately I was on a junior position. I had someone who was teaching me and so on. It was very important to understand priorities immediately because especially in IT, you have a lot of and you have a different sources where the information are coming from. So it can be an email, Slack, Teams, Google Chat, whatsoever. You can also receive a WhatsApp messages if you are close with someone or SMS. And in my opinion, it is actually a task. If you are
mm,
speaking about business, you can also
yeah,
have a task on a private level. And it was very important for me to collect everything. And then I can remember once one of our managers sent us an email and said, like, "Hey, next weekend, please, if you can be available, because I booked a priority trainer for you. And the guy from Germany so came, and then we discussed about priorities, and then that was the first time I heard about priority metrics and Eisenhower. I actually knew who is Eisenhower, but it was a moment when I realized, okay, I need to use it in future. It's really I'm using it on a daily level. For
Yeah.
me, it's very important. And then I'm sure that you read this book, and also our audience is about getting things done. So it's a very famous book. What I took from this book is that you need actually to collect everything. And now I have a practice. For example, I'm receiving maybe 100 between 100 and 200 emails a day every morning, and then I take 5 minutes and then I flag everything where I need to react.
Yeah.
And then I organize it like this is priority. I need to react now, and this is something I can do tomorrow, and then I
Yeah.
put it in my calendar. So it's a great thing, and
Yeah.
it's very important to understand your priorities. And
Yep.
if you can work with Eisenhower matrix, it's great. But I also heard about other techniques, but that
Yeah.
was the key point where I can say, okay, I have started to be more successful than before.
Yeah. And how did, when you, now you're CEO of the company and you run, you're responsible for the way the company runs, but also the people. And so
Yeah.
how much of do you see in when you're trying to coach other people or you're trying to bring them along on your journey, how much of that does it apply to them? Do you see that? I noticed in my business that a lot of the younger people in particular, and it's not a knock on young people, they just don't have a system yet, right? And do you see that a lot as you run the company, that they're trying to find their way, but they just don't have whether it's a priority management system or habit system, et cetera. They don't teach that in our schools, at least in the US.
Yeah. So how I see it actually is when I post something in. So we are using Atlassian products. It can be Notion, it can be anything. When you are doing
Mhm.
collaboration, if I post something and then I see that they are immediately answering, that's not a good sign. Sometimes it's a good sign because people are reacting on you, but that means that they don't have a focus on what they are doing and they are just reacting on a things that are coming immediately. So that's what I see. Uh, what I'm trying to do, for example, is I'm trying to focus an hour or two, or it can be a Pomodoro technique with 25 minutes where you can say, okay, I will finish it now. No disruptions, no messages, nothing. And then
Yeah.
the next 30 minutes I'm spending on what I have actually planned. It's not easy. Now, when I'm speaking about that, you will think, okay, he's perfect. I'm also doing mistakes. I'm also
Yeah.
reacting to an email, a message. I'm also grabbing my phone and going to LinkedIn and just scrolling. But this is one thing that I realized, okay, maybe someone or your employee, they need help. They need to understand, okay, this is my priority right now. I need to code 2 hours, and then after that I can switch to other things. What is important and what I'm doing is that I, as a CEO, so I'll just tell you a few habits I have. It's a consistency.
Yeah.
So everything what I'm doing is I'm trying to check the vision and mission and trying to align it with that. Like, okay, that's a habit, I would say, where sometimes I need to read the mission and vision again and say, okay, this is now we are going in the same direction. I'm learning every day, so I spend early in the morning before I'm going to sleep, I'm reading at least 30 minutes a day, and that's something I need to do every day. So it makes me like, okay, I understand what's going on. It can be politics, something about economics, or something about priority product management, and so on. And then the habit also, what is important, what I do is that I listen to everyone, especially to my employees. So I do a session and then I say, okay, this is a problem. How do you, can you give me an idea how to solve it? And then I'm listening, and then I'm always accepting something from them. So just that they understand they are important and that we are listening. Um, because I realized that if you have a proper team, you will win. Without a team, if you have only people who are listening to CEO, I think it's not a good thing. Two more things is public chats. I was struggling before, but I learned from shareholders. One of shareholders who was insisting that everything needs to go public, so we don't have one-to-one communication in our company. So
Ah,
everything
good.
that's business related goes to public chat. Everything. It can be problematic because you have way too much messages, but
Yeah,
I'm also learning a lot because I see, okay, they have a problem, I can help, I can jump in and so on. That's the big
yeah,
important thing. It's very hard to get used to it, but
yeah,
I'm not working very late, and then when I see that someone is committing at 2 a.m., I'm always against it because I'm quite sure that you can be so productive
yeah,
during the evening.
yeah.
And what I
That's it.
say also to them is family time. That's
Yeah,
important, and that will recharge you. And I
yeah,
always struggle with that, but family time is very important. And I would say the most important thing is that you have some private time, and I'm calling it family time because I have two kids, and
yeah.
it's important.
Two young kids, so they'll keep you busy. Yeah. So the you said a couple things there that are interesting, and let me focus on the last one first. But with the public chat thing, that's an interesting concept. I've not heard that before, and I really like it because what you're doing is you're putting front and center the group's issues, if you will, and you have a collaboration or collective that is looking to solve that. I guess the challenge would be that you jump in on too many things, right? Because you don't want to jump in and solve everybody's problem, right? But you want to find the right nudge points for your team. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. So again, the same with emails.
Yeah.
I'm ignoring it for hour or two, and then I'm reading everything and then flagging. It's usually, for example, Slack. You have a save for later, and then I click save for later, and then I'm
Yeah.
answering. So I'm taking then 30 minutes to answer everything. Or
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
example, if I because I'm trying to work from 5 a.m. in the morning because I never work late because I'm not successful. Then I'm scheduling messages for 8 a.m. and then usually when they starting with working day, they will get thousands of my messages, so hundreds of them. Uh, but and I'm trying that they are doing the same thing because I was struggling with that as well. I can tell you honestly, but I really see
Yeah.
that there is a value. They are learning a lot from them. So
Yeah.
you have a problem, and I will learn. I won't solve your problem. You will solve it, but I will learn from them. So there is an incident.
Yeah.
There is a problem. There is something. Sharing, and then um, someone will learn and someone will help you. So I'm telling you, okay, don't overreact. You don't need to react immediately. Take your time. Take your time
Yeah.
for coding, take your time for thinking, but 30 minutes you can go through everything, and then if something is urgent, of course someone will call you or
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. That's great. And then the second thing you said, or the first you said it first in the air, is that, and it's rare. I mean, I know that we say this, but CEOs don't always think about their mission of the company. They think about themselves, or they think about other things. But you said something very clear there that your job is to focus on the mission and the direction of the company, and it's not just a slogan on the wall. And I think that's important for everybody if you're thinking about how you live, how you work, what your habits are. If you think of your value first, that why am I doing this? You're going to have a more of a foundation to be successful with that. I have hierarchy of values that I read every morning, and I could probably recite them to you, but I do the reading every morning just so I reinforce with myself that these are the important things in my life, right? And that allows me to align that. And for you to say that as a CEO, I hate to say it's rare, but it is rare because we've seen a lot of CEOs not run the company that way. So that's an impressive thing. And that's it. Is that something you learned from at your professional sports, or is that just who you are?
yeah. uh, I don't know what to say. So
Yeah,
um, I think also you have a mission and vision on your private level, and
yeah,
I'm reading a lot, and of course I also read your book Time Bandit. So you have private, you have business, and you have aspirational part.
yeah,
I also, so to my employees and to my family. So you need to have this aspirational part. Um, you need to move forward, and it's okay for you if you strive to join better company, bigger company, if you want to follow your dreams. So you need to take an hour a day. It can be after your working time to work on aspirational part. Like we all have our dreams.
yeah,
I can tell you my dream is to be uh, I would say a C level in a big sport club. For example, it can
Ah,
be a Liverpool or it can be LA Lakers, but I wanna work in sport business again because I love it. And what I'm doing to do that in the future, so I need to take maybe 30 minutes a day or 1 hour to go in that direction. Uh,
yeah,
Also, I think it's very important. So this aspirational part is a good thing, and you should use our calendar, and then you need to plan it. Like what I'm doing to achieve that goal. Also, I have a business goal. I have a private goal, and
yeah,
it's very different, but it's somehow connected. I can't imagine that from 8 to 4 I'm business person, and
right.
I'm very strict with my employees and so on. And then after 4 I'm very kind with my kids because I'm actually the same person, and
Yeah,
I want to be the same person 24 hours a day. But I
yeah,
think that part, like private business aspirational, is extremely important, and you need to find time for everything.
yeah,
Focus only on business, probably burnout. It happened to me once. Focus only
yeah,
on private, it's not possible because you need the money, you need business,
yeah,
uh, you need to do something for your family, and then this aspirational part is keeping me like to be a dreamer,
yeah,
to dream about something bigger than I have now, and it's okay. So I don't dream
yeah,
about more money. Maybe I dream about something else, but it's
yeah.
important.
Yeah, I'm so glad you went through that because I think it is, and it's an important part of the mobile app and Time Bandit too, is that you can, when you enter a task, you can note is it which category does that go into, aspirational or
Yeah.
work or what have you. I think that's an important point, and people don't do it, and we are seeing massive burnout because they're just leaning one way or the other, right, all the time. So I think I appreciate you mentioning that balance factor because that's an important element. So let's talk about you've built a successful tech business, but man, tech in all things changes so fast, and obviously AI is upon us and all of that stuff. So how do you adapt, and how do you continually learn, not just for you but for your organization? How do you instill that kind of I guess habit of learning and habit of adapting? How do you build that into the group?
Uh, yeah, I already mentioned reading.
Yep.
I read a lot, and that's keeping me informed. And then I have my opinion about everything, and I have opinion about AI, and I have opinion about everything what is happening in the world right now. Um, so that's important thing. Even if you have a lot of fake news and fake information out there, I think reading is important. You can find a
Yeah.
valuable source and read it, and then you can also reflect on the books and on the time before, because in my opinion you can learn from the history a lot and from people that experience something. Another important habit or thing is reflecting. So I take time to evaluate my day, my week, my
Yeah.
decisions, my performance, what worked, what didn't. I'm a big fan of Kaizen principle. You know it probably from Toyota. It's a continuous improvement where you constantly need to adapt and learn. Uh, and I think you need to have a courage to try some things, to try out, and also playing safe all the time will change things, because um, you know that Skype is not existing anymore. 10 years
Right.
ago,
Yeah.
imagine that someone told you, "Listen, Michael, enjoy using Skype. In 10 years, it will be something." No way. So
Exactly.
things will change, and things are changing, and things will change more. Maybe the business I have with Atlassian and the apps we have there, maybe it will. I don't know. It will go in 2 years. No one will use Atlassian apps anymore. Who knows? I think we need to adapt, and maybe we need to have a backup. I would say maybe to try some other things, because things are changing, and I think our kids will work my kids will work in a different environment, and
Yeah.
so it's completely changing all the time. Also, I try to organize my day every day with calendar. Even if
Yeah.
usually it's not working, but yeah, I'm trying every day. And there is also one habit, so I organize my day the day before, and then I check. Okay, it was like, okay, I made mistake here and here and here. Maybe I can improve tomorrow. And also, I can tell you honestly. So I'm 36, 37 now. If I tell you I'm getting older, maybe you will laugh. But
I
I'm
will.
delegating to younger employees because they have completely different mindset on things.
Yes.
And
Yes.
as a CEO, someone running the company, actually, it would be great if you can delegate as much as possible to younger employees because they are very smart. They have
Yeah.
crazy ideas and they have different mindsets. So everything what was for you, okay, it won't work. Maybe it will work for someone. Maybe it will work for them. Maybe if you are targeting younger generation, I don't know. So this is something we need to think about. Uh, Delegating is great. So you will have more time to focus on important things, but also you
Yeah.
can get valuable ideas if you
Yeah.
want.
Yeah. And delegation is hard for everybody. It seems like
Yeah.
that even personally, trying to delegate your own personal tasks, but professionally, it does become interesting because there's a lot of fear associated with new ideas
Yeah.
that maybe shouldn't be there because ideas didn't hurt anybody. It's the execution of bad ideas that hurt people. So, but it's an interesting delegation is certainly an interesting topic. And so you have these two young children, and they're not old enough necessarily to do that. But do you see yourself delegating things to them soon,
Yeah,
or
I started a bit. Uh,
yeah,
so when I'm too lazy to get up from couch, I'm usually asking my son to bring me something. It's some kind of delegation, I would say, and
yeah,
he's ready to help if I need. But yeah, I'll try, and I think they need to have responsibility from beginning.
yeah, yeah,
They need to bring their like they need to be sure in what they are doing. So I think it will be important for them in future. I did a lot of mistakes also in sports, and I
yeah,
know if I realize that they are doing something similar, I will be. I know how to solve it because I did a lot of mistakes, and I know
yeah,
what is important also in business and in sports to be successful. So I'll try to teach them to go
yeah.
in the proper direction, I would say.
Very good. Yeah, that's very good. Well, as we kind of wind down here, any further thoughts or takeaways around time management, priority management, or habits that you want to share?
Sure. Uh, I think I mentioned everything what was important for me about private business aspirational. I was like, it was the first time I met that when I was reading the Time Bandit. So I think that's important. I would say that success doesn't come from talent alone. It really comes from habits, showing up every
Yeah,
day, even when it's hard.
yeah,
Um, you can have a talent, but without working, learning, and adapting every day, it won't work. And that's
yeah,
what sports taught me because um, skipping 2 or 3 trainings
yeah,
during the weekend, someone who is training a lot will come, and then you will see the
yeah,
difference. Yeah, and then what I would say is, so we all go through setbacks. What matter is how you respond and how you adapt. And for me, I think habits were the most important
yeah,
factor here. Simple things like waking up early, it's very important for me because it's my time, peaceful, kids are sleeping, planning my day, reading. And of course, I would say that I'm also struggling a lot when I'm reading and hearing that when someone is presenting something and then you see, okay, this guy is very successful. He's waking up every day 5 a.m. in the morning. He's prioritizing everything without any issues. So we all have issues, and
yeah,
I have
yeah,
issues every day. I'm doing mistakes every day, and the only thing what I know is that I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to adapt.
yeah,
I'm trying to reflect, and then you will see the difference in the future. So I'm growing very slowly,
yeah,
but growing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think there's some sound advice in there, and not what you always see in social media or things like that isn't a full story. It's part of the story, but it's not the full stories.
Yeah.
And then you said something there. There's so many suggestions to do things differently, but you can't do them all, right?
Yes.
Somebody sent you a list of 20 productivity hacks. You can't do 20. You're going to have to pick one or two and try those. If they don't work, move on to the next one, but you can't just do 20 of them. So
Yeah.
I think that's sound advice there. Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah. Go ahead.
if waking up early is not for you, for example, then it's not for you. You need to accept it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's okay. So I tried it, and then I realized, okay, that's something for me, and I need to continue with that. So I'm not sure if you heard about Wim Hof method. It's about taking cold baths and so on. I tried it, but it's not for me. It's really I was sick 5 times in a month with that. Then I just stopped because I can't say because it's tough.
Yeah.
And I would
It's
say
tough.
one thing for you. Maybe it can be the closing word here. Something I'm thinking a lot about that is we will have, and we have already a problem with social media a lot. And that's what I'm trying to learn my kids, like, let's reduce it.
Yeah.
And I saw maybe some countries like Australia, they are already cutting this down for kids
Yeah.
because it's very dangerous. That's not
Yep.
alive. And if you have a problem and then you open social media and you see hundreds people having perfect life, swimming on in their private pools and so on, that's not alive. It's
Yeah.
very hard to have it. It's probably fake.
Yes.
And you need to follow your own path. You need to find your own habits that are moving you forward.
Yep.
It can be a small achievement. It's only small achievement, small step forward, but in the future you will see the difference. So that's
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. And that's a huge problem over here in the US too, is the
yeah.
doom scrolling and fantasizing about that. But it's well said, Marin. Thank you so much. So if somebody wanted to reach out to you and connect with you or start a conversation, how best to find you?
I'm on LinkedIn. I'm not so active posting it every day, but I'm active there. So I'm connecting with people, and there is an email on Kaler.com. So Kaler is my company. We are building apps for Atlassian, the ecosystem. LinkedIn, I would say.
Yeah,
Best of.
LinkedIn. Very good. Well, thank you so much for spending some time with us. I know it's your evening there, and we appreciate the insight and some great tips in here. I'm looking forward to kind of going back and playing it back because there's a lot of bits in here that people should really think about. So really appreciate your insight, Marin, and thank you so much for being with us. And
Always to speak with
and
you.
I will tell you,
yeah.
I will tell you this: that the Dallas Mavericks need somebody to run that organization because they traded away Luka Doncic, which is the single dumbest thing they could have ever done. So maybe come on over. We'll get you a job interview with the Mavericks.
Yeah, try it. I'll come.
Very good. Good to see you, Marin.
Maybe,
Thank you so much.
we'll find another Dick Nowitzki in Europe.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Very good. Excellent. Good to see you. Thank you so much, Marin.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Everybody, next week we have Fiona Ross, she calls it the Queen of Kings. So she consults with men on becoming better at who they are and what they do. So Fiona Ross next week on The Habit Architect. And you can always find us on YouTube, LinkedIn, as well as your favorite podcast channels. And be sure to subscribe.